President Uhuru Kenyatta has been sustained and will be sworn in next week. So we'll begin to touch a lot of these issues, particularly on Zimbabwe. We'll come to Kenya, and then we'll also talk a bit about Togo. We have right here in the studio a security expert, Irad Ibrahim, who always joins us when we want to discuss matters of security. Thank you very much for gracing our studios this morning. You look very good.
Oh, you look better.
Right, thank you very much. So, to start with, we want to analyze particularly the security issues as we will be expecting in the weeks ahead of us in Zimbabwe. Right when the military took up something like a de facto coup, where some people described it as a de facto coup, right? So yesterday when the president actually gave a speech when everybody was thinking he was going to resign, he didn't resign. With all of the issues that are coming up, what do you make of it?
First of all, the Zimbabweans are in a catch-22 situation.
Catch-22?
Yes. This man has to leave. How he leaves is now the question, because it's not easy to have been a liberation fighter. And people have tried to draw parallels between Mugabe and Nelson Mandela.
Right.
Nelson Mandela is still celebrated, even posthumously, since his death. Why? He struggled for independence for his country away from apartheid. And after 27 years in prison, he did one term and said goodbye to the presidency. But Mugabe, since '98, before I was born, he's been president for 37 years. So people are thinking he's overstayed his welcome. And it is always best when you leave the stage while the applause is loudest. But I would hold brief for Mugabe. Nelson Mandela did not fight from the trenches to fight against apartheid. This guy sacrificed his life for Zimbabwe. So for a freedom fighter like this, who was a cornerstone of the independence of Rhodesia at that time, from the lopsided advantage that was given to the British that were living in the country. Farmlands were given to white folks while the blacks, you know, were living in utter abject poverty or penury. So therefore, I believe he's a hero and not a villain. So therefore, he's someone we should chaperone out of the political scene in a very dignified and humane way. That is where I see it's difficult for
He talked about the Constitution yesterday as the people of Zimbabwe respecting the Constitution and not taking up arms. Are we going to see something like that? That people are going to take up arms if he...
Whether there is an accusation that the elections he has won over time are rigged, he's a legitimate leader of the country. Zimbabwe goes to the polls next year. Why the rush? Why are we hastening to shove him off? So therefore, I believe fundamentally he's the legitimate and constitutional leader of the country. Do
you foresee anything like a civil war if he's forced out? Because the perception now is that within at least the next 3 weeks, for example, when ZANU-PF goes for the Congress, which he says he will preside over, there will be some forceful activity of pushing him out.
Many of those who are saying he should leave the scene were not in the trenches with him. So I think it should be done in a dignified way. Given ultimata, it's not the best way to go. Why do you give the founder of a country a deadline to leave the political scene? You don't do that. It is not courteous and it's not dignifying. So therefore, he's 93 and frail. People go on retirement at 60, but he's 33 years older than someone who should be on retirement. So he's frail, he's demented, we understand that. But I believe if you want to take him off the political scene, it should be done in a dignified way.
They should wait for elections.
Yeah, so they should forget the deadline.
Let's come